Today's episode, we're going to look at the leg press. And what is a leg press? It's a great controlling position when you've got your opponent down on the mat and you're got your legs across them and pressing them down with your legs. It's aptly named. For many years, it's been called the Juji Gatame position, but I always thought there was more you can do than Juji Gatame from this position. So in today's videos, series of videos, we're going to look at how to control someone with a leg press, and ultimately, yes, how to get Juji Gatame, but there are a lot of other things you can get from there as well. So anyway, without further ado, let's take a real serious look at the leg press position.
We roll them over, let the head roll, hip roll. Somehow Derek got Mike down. Somehow he's got him basics. New guys, remember also, if you're on the bottom, you want your feet up and knees in the mat, because Mike knows he's in trouble. You know, he's got a ring in his head, and he says, this isn't good for me. Okay, he'll probably turn in, bridge, whatever. He's going to try to escape immediately. So we're going to address that, actually. So he's ready, even in practice, always be in a position where you're ready to work, okay? It's very important, all right? Now, we're going to concern ourselves with what Derek needs to do to keep Mike from getting up and from doing things to get away. Because Derek, you know, like whether it's Judo, Sambo, submission, grappling, anything in a gi, the referee's only going to give him so much time, okay? Whatever the sport is. So he's got it pretty efficiently. All right, so we're going to look at some things Derek needs to do to keep Mike here until he can maybe arm lock him, maybe switch into a pin or a choke or, you know, like a triangle or something, whatever it may be. So there we go. First of all, he's got a good leg press going. He's got control of his shoulders here. See how Mike's shoulders are crunched like this. He's not square. And then we always use the analogy of bench pressing, you know. You can't bench press like this very well. You can like this. So he's got his crunch lift there pretty good. So think, again, basics, guys. Think of these things. Okay, now, Derek is automatically trapping Mike's arm. Can you see how he's got his left arm trapped? He's got a nice little thigh grip here. Or he might do another one. But he's got a good, solid control here of Mike's arm. So he's trapped his arm. So his upper body, his shoulders here are controlled, okay? Now think of also, it's good sound methodology. The Kodokan Judo has the method. You've heard of things like Shiho, you know, like four corners, like Yoko Shiho Gatame, you know, Tate Shiho, four corners. You want to control the four corners of his body. The two shoulders and the two hips, the four corners, okay? And that's kind of the methodology of that, just have the theory behind what we're doing here. Okay, so he's controlling pretty darn good here, up here. Got a good control here. I switch out because we're using it. Okay, so now, Mike's getting a heck of a time. Mike is turning, fighting, whatever it is. Derek knows he's got to check those hips. He's got to stop those hips from turning, okay? A couple things he can do, all right? First one, Steve, come on over here so you can see. Everybody come on over here so you can see Derek's hand on the hip check. He posted here. Now this, it looks crazy, but it works. This hand right here really does prevent the bottom man from turning in quite a bit. And so Mike wants to turn into shrimp to try to get out of the escape. And he may just keep working him. They may be real moving around. He may move him there. He has to keep him there to control him, okay? So that's a good way to park him there. That's one way to park him there. Other ways are, you simply just grab his pants or grab his hip. Grab some body part where he can't move, and you just keep working him, kind of work around a little bit, kind of semi-work, and Derek just stays on him. And eventually, Derek's thinking about, okay, eventually here, I got to start working this guy. So once he does, and Mike kind of settles down a little bit, or he parks him there, okay, as soon as he does, he switches and he starts going for the trap to get the lever of the arm and works the juji, okay, to pop it free, get it out of there. So what we got to do is we got to keep him there for maybe not very long, but long enough to control him to work the arm lock. And okay, switch like a Uki Gatame. So let's say he can't get the arm lock, okay? But he can shift up to a Uki Gatame to hold him there. And maybe Mike says, oh, I'm in trouble, and he may roll back to hit the juji. Well, there you go, you got that. Okay, you've always got that. You got triangles from there. You know, you start working, you know, so there you go. So you've got to park them there for as long as you can do something to the guy. Stay active. That's what we're talking about. So there are a lot of ways to do this. A couple other things here on this end here. grabbing the legs. So he might grab one or both legs or an ankle, whatever it needs to be, just to keep him from moving. By doing this, it traps Mike's legs, traps him, he doesn't have any base on him. There are these just general things to do that you will learn if you get this drill on this enough, okay?
First, we're going to work on a grip break, then we're going to work on getting into a pin, okay? So first things first, grip break. You remember how I said that I teach my guys layers of offense and layers of defense. We've gone over the layers of defense part. Now let's do the layers of offense. I flipped him over, okay? He's smart enough to get his hands together, so the bottom layer isn't quite working yet. So I have to do something to get to the point where my bottom layer works, okay? So the easiest one to get is this one. We grab the hand on the hip, okay, and we scoop up. I call it the uppercut lever. There's a lot of other names for it. The important part is I'm not just going like this and sitting back, okay, because that usually isn't enough, okay? I got it that time, but if he's go ahead, really deep, okay? Even if I'm doing it that way. So what I have to do is I have to anchor his elbow over this way and then pull nice and hard, okay? And then it'll pop free. The easiest way to do that is just to reach through and grab your hip, okay? So whichever hand is closest to his belt, slides through, grab your hip. Grab your belt, grab your pants, whatever it takes, okay? Then the other one slides through like you're uppercutting. And then I roll sideways. Don't roll back immediately, roll sideways. We don't bench press like this, right? We don't, okay? We always work in square angles when we're in the weight room. That's how we get strong. That's how our joints usually work. So I'm going to take him at a part he's weak. I'm going to go sideways. Boom. There he goes. Okay? And then I always finish flat on my back. Okay? So again, I get him right where I want him. I try the first layer. Okay? Not working. So I grab my thigh, scoop up like an uppercut, go sideways, and when it pops free, I finish on my back. Okay? Good? Good.
The leg press, and Mike is basically riding John in the leg press position to set him up for a Juji Gatame. Stay on him, keep riding him and controlling him. Let's say Mike has turned him over in a head roll Juji or spinning Juji, or somehow he's rolled him over onto the back, followed through from a throw to a transition. He's on the ground with him, and he may need to keep, Mike may need to keep John here for a period of time before he can secure a lever to pry him off. Just to trap and lever the arm from a leg press position. And we're just drilling on this. The top guy is working on doing a lot of repetitions and getting his favorite lever. And in this case, Dre is working on a nice lapel grab and arm hook lever. He does a bunch of repetitions, and now it looks like it's going to be Ken's turn. And it's a skill drill, and we start with controlling him in a good leg press, as you can see Ken doing here. And he's just working on digging in. The bottom guy gives varying degrees of resistance. And you kind of work it out with your partner how you want to do it, or the coach may decide, okay, we're going to do, 20% resistance or 50% or whatever it may be. And we're just working on the skill of getting him on his, he's already on his back, and we're working a lever, a trap and lever. Trap is when you trap his arm to your chest or torso, and lever is when you pry it loose. And this is just a trap and lever drill from the leg press.
All right. So you remember how I was saying before, you have to put your heels in and your knees together, right? That's how you get a nice, good, tight arm lock, okay? When my feet are straight and off the floor and my knees are wide, okay? That's when you see the guys flipping their thumbs around and doing this kind of stuff, okay? It's because I've got no control whatsoever. I can even be sitting here doing this, and I have to really put my hips up, okay? So this is a drill that I make my guys do a lot, okay? So we're gonna start like this, all right? It isn't working, okay? I'm gonna pull my heels in and squeeze my knees together. That's all it takes, right? Pull your heels in, squeeze your knees together. Boom, okay? Then I'm gonna scoot back, okay? Take his arm down, see how it's not working, okay? Heels in, knees together, sit up, come back, okay? Scoot back. Heels in, Knees together,
Let's do it
go
together.
back. Okay? Scoot back. See, every single time I'm doing this, he's out of the arm lock. And I'm pulling him in with my feet. All right? So we're going to start there, and we're going to do 2 lines. And go all the way across the mat.
Between the legs, go.
All right? It's going to be hard at first, but the more you do this drill, the easier it becomes, and the tighter. Okay? Boom. Okay? I go back a foot.
One more.
Really squeeze him in, and sit up if you can. Go back.
Go.
Each time I'm arm locking in between here, okay?
Good. Switch. Okay, come on up. Dave, come on up. Turn. Ready?
And if you're too bored with it, you just stay sitting up.
Belly down.
It's a lot harder.
When you do it.
You get the idea.
Line that.
Okay? Make sense?
When you first showed this to me, I tried it up in St. Joe, and I was going against this demoing of this bigger guy, and we were doing this, and he said, oh, you know, that's fantastic, who's going to fall for this? And then we were doing randori later that evening, and I suckered him right into it, because, oh, it works. So I can't get the arm press, you know, so nothing's working. So he has this room in here, Eric has this room, so I can just slip his leg right through here.
So the leg that's actually closest to his legs, that's across his body, you pop it up and slip it through. There you go.
And I'm gonna
Okay.
pull on him, and Eric's going to go with me because he doesn't want his arm apart. Boom. Then you just form that pillow right there.
Fresh blood.
And there's a double trouble move with the arm bar and the...
And you got the triangle choke and you got the Juji Gatame. Let's look at that again. So you got him leg press. Now watch, you make yourself, and look at with your left leg, you're kind of controlling his head. You're kind of being nice to him right now, but you kind of press it at first and then move it out slightly so you have room to work, don't you? Okay, now your right leg is filtered through. You roll back on your right hip, the hip closest to his hip, form your triangle. See that? Kick your leg over. And now when you finish him back down, you can end up right into a juji. And you can choke him from that position as well. Okay.
A leg press situation. You know, Derek's got Mike down, he's rolled him, however he's rolled him, here he is, okay? And he's got, you know, Mike's obviously defending, he wants to keep his arm straight, and Derek is really trying to get that Juji Gatame, okay? It's a great position for it. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to choke him. We're going to actually get a strangle, actually, because we're going to work this leg choke here. So there are a lot of different ways to choke somebody with your legs from this position. Here is one of them. And this is a good one. It's very rather simple and straightforward, okay? What he's going to do, he's going to keep thinking, Mike, you know, defend here, okay? And what he's going to do is he's going to filter this leg through here. He's going to pop it open just enough to filter it through. And the leg closest to Mike's legs here, and he slips it under, and he gets this nice, nasty leg choke, okay? All right, let's take a look at that, okay? Yeah, just go ahead and do one, you know. There you go. Now what you can't see is what he's doing here with his arms. We're going to show that in a minute, but let's look at the big picture here. So, again, Mike's cooperating now, okay? Now, we want to make some opening here, so the leg closest to the feet, you're going to kind of, with your heel, kind of pop that open and slide it through. That helps open the hole. We're going to open the hole. Now, he's got a clear way through here. Now, as soon as he does that, he wants to reach under his head, okay? Even if he has to pop Mike up a little bit with his arm like this, like shove it under a little bit, there he does that, and he filters it there. Now, here's where the choke, the actual strangle comes in. Right here, this leg, this bottom part of his leg, the lower half of his leg, right along Mike's carotid here, okay? Now, by grabbing under Mike's head and trapping it, he's got a really nasty triangle, you know, the leg choke there. Now, what he can do here with this hand, just to make it work, go ahead and grab your forearm, Do that, and that just kind of cinches it in nice and tight. It's like a nut cracker, okay? And that's what happens. Now, you don't have to have this arm. You can do other things with it. You can grab his lapel, or you can just hold his arm. You've got a good choke here, okay? Now, another way to make it nastier is to kind of come up as you roll back. Rolling back helps, and then triangle that makes it nastier. Really, it's kind of a no-lose situation if you're Derek here, because you're winning. You got him in a position here, and even if you can't, you can sit up and go to and hold down some kind of a no-cyclomy situation. but it's a very strong situation here, okay? Very strong. The only thing I say is come back to the start. Now, some people might have trouble doing this. When you filter your leg through, okay? When you filter your leg through, try to get that down as far as you can here. As soon as you do that, change your legs. Think about that. I'm not a real bright guy, so I have to think about what happens next, okay? As soon as that happens, now, you've got that nice and low. That's when he starts to slide under the head and catch it. Now, you'll find some people will slide under palm up, palm sideways, palm down. It doesn't matter. And you say, well, which way should I do it? Whatever works for you. But all you want to do is make sure you get your right hand on your left ankle. And that, see how that, he's already got it going. Okay, now he could keep it just the arm, but he adds a little more by grabbing here. Okay, he rolls back, and there's the neck. And again, if he's a really strong guy, strong neck, and you can't get the choke, then with that. Okay, and that helps. I'm sure there are other ways to do it too, but that's all I figured out. So yeah, I'm going with that. And this is a really good move, and it's uki gatame, straddle hold. Uki, like in a judo sense, can be like a floating uki otoshi, floating drop throw, you know. But in this case, it also means to straddle over something, to skim over the top of something. That's what uki, U-K-I means. Okay. In this case, uki gatame, straddle hold. I'm straddling him over the top. So Derek's got Mike in a really good leg press position. He's really working that juji, but Mike's been eating his Wheaties, and he's just, you know, Derek can't, you know, lever that arm free, okay? So a good plan B is to go right to the straddle hold, which could lead right into like a mount or tate shiho gatame or any other number of things. But what we're going to do today, right now anyway, is do the uki gatame, and he's going to realize he's in a bad position, so he's probably going to sit up or, you know, try to get his arm, you know, get out of that. And Derek's going to flip right back into a Juji Gatame, okay? So we're gonna see how it works from that position, and then we're going to work into a pin of itself. So Derek's got him here, and he's decided, okay, Uki Gatame time. Now what he does is, look when he does this, guys, he actually kind of does almost the splits, okay? When he does this now, look at this left hand, control here, he puts it on his thigh for control, so he's really trapped Mike's arms really well, okay? Now, as he does that, he throws the top leg back, and he just sits like his knee in, and he reaches over here and he grabs Mike. He could post, he could, whatever he wants to do. Derek likes to grab, so there's the straddle hold right there. He's got him there he could hold him there for a while, okay? Now, he would probably transition from this if he just wanted to pin him right up into a mount or a tate shiho gatame, vertical four corner hold, okay? And then you could also work any other stuff from there if you want to finish him off with a juji, garami, which is most common. But there you have a nice series there. But let's really play him. I'll tell you where I first saw this move. Two guys from Britain did this, Neil Eckersley and Stephen Gawthorpe. They were both Olympic bronze medalists in 1984 for Great Britain. And they were masters of newaza. They were just fabulous. And both of them did this with great skill. Especially Gawthorpe, I think. But Eckersley was quite good at it himself, so probably both good. But anyway, this isn't exactly how they did it, but this is kind of the way we developed it over the years. So he's doing the leg press. He's got Mike, and go ahead and start with that, the leg press, like you got in there. Okay, now he wants to make sure, guys, you got to be precise. When he decides he's going to go for the straddle hold, okay, uki gatame, he shifts here. And look at that hand on his thigh. Okay. Now, a guy like Jimmy Pedro would grab the belt. He would just hold that belt like that. That's good too. Okay. So that's a good situation. If you want to do that, we grab the thigh because we get a good. You don't have to. Try the belt grab. It works great too. Okay.
Your belt or his belt?
His belt.
His
right.
belt. Can you see that? Okay. His belt. Now, when he does this, he's going to shoot this leg back, and he's going to kind of straddle it. Notice see how he's kind of in a straddle position here? And there's he came up here like this to hold. You could be grabbing through the middle of his legs, wherever you wanted to grab. You could grab his leg, and even, you know, like hold on to it, you know, whatever you like there. But in this case, he's doing this. Now Mike figures out, holy schmoly, I'm in trouble. You know, so he's going to try to maybe sit up or whatever, or he's going to try to get out of the pin. And as soon as he's out of it, he forgot, Derek can whip right back into a juji and finish him. So it's leg press, you know, get the juji, try the juji. He's not buying into it. Straddle hold. He forgets that. He comes up and can finish out with the juji. Here's a situation that could come up, guys, that may happen. We've tried this. Derek's tried this, and Mike's trying to get out, but he said, no, I'm still not giving you that arm. You know, so Derek's gone back with the Juji Gatame, but Mike isn't giving up that arm. So Derek can say, okay, I'll roll you back down into a leg press, and I'll come back into my straddle hold, and now I'll just go right into a mount or tate shio gatame. Now I've got him. And now you've got time. You got him in a good time hold. We'll say Komani, good time hold. You can go into a bent arm lock, or you can work for a choke, or you can come back out to a Juji Gatame if you want.
Does the Ugi Gatame count as a time hold?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it really does. So I mean, he's not getting up and you're controlling his body.
Right, and if he's not fighting too much, you can just leave him there.
You can
and
hold
you're
him
still
there.
getting-
Hold them there and get
You know,
your time.
I've seen people do this. I've seen a number of guys do this with good success, and just keep them there and ride them. You know, like if you're doing in judo, it's only a 20-second ride anymore, okay? In Sambo, freestyle judo, I can hold that for maybe 20 seconds, get my 4 points in, and go right to the submission. So, you know, you can see how this really has, but you notice, be careful to do some things. When he's going to go for the straddle hold or uki gatame, notice the change here. He wants, this is anchor, okay? Now, he does that, now he reaches up, and we'll see how he's straddling here. Now, some guys have their knees a little closer to the head. You have that real tight in, okay? Some guys have a little wider base. You see out here there's posting? Guys, play with this. It's a really skilled move. It really is.
What we're going to do is we're going to get in our same armbar lever position, but sometimes you don't always get that hook. Sometimes they have a really deep grip like this, and you have trouble getting your hands in. So what we're going to do instead is basically apply a bicep crush on it and make them let go or make them tap out from the crush. What's important to remember is I'm still putting my hand on the thigh over here, so I lock his elbow in, or if you've got a gi, you can also use it to keep that elbow locked in. I usually do the hip, okay?
Now, I might add, guys, remember the hand that Derek's doing, in this case is left, but it's the one that's the nearest to Mike's legs. Okay, so if you think of it in those terms, in this case, instead of left or right, the one closest to his legs, that's the one he's coming over, and his left hand is now anchoring on his thigh. So that's providing a good anchor, and it kind of traps the guy's arm. Okay.
Right. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to take my leg that's closest to his belt or his legs, and I'm going to drape it across, almost like I'm crossing, you know, my legs like this, but I'm going to put it down on his wrists. Okay, what this does is it starts compressing his elbow. Usually they'll let go at that point, and if he does, I just grab it and go for the arm lock. But if he's a tough guy, he'll keep those hands together, and you bring that through and just lean back a little bit, and that's where the crush comes from. Okay? Now, if he's especially tough, we'll pop this through and get that, okay? Occasionally, he's super, super tough. You catch that, you roll to the side, bring this up, and then kick back towards his head. Okay? So, first one, bring it down and just try and push down towards his chest and lean back, okay? It'll either pop back or it'll tap. Okay, if you feel you need to, you can bring this up here and then just do that. And I'm not triangling to hold it, I'm triangling to push my leg down towards the mat. So once it comes up, you stomp your foot down and that gets the tap. Okay? And then if you really, really want to be mean about it, as soon as you catch this, you roll and then you bring this up and then kick back towards his head.
Now, by the way, he's coaching, but with his right hand, he'd have it controlling. You know, you'd be using your right hand to kind of have in there. So kind of show a little realistic like you'd be doing it.
Okay, so I'm coming through here, catch this. We can pop that through there and sit back. Or I can catch through there and sit back. Okay? If it pops free, boom, you've got the arm lock. Okay? Likewise, if I'm here, coming through and it pops through. We're going through for arm locks here, okay? So you can also bring it up and pull through like this and then squeeze, or bring that through, squeeze, okay?
It's
Good?
really a nasty, nobody thinks it would hurt, but it does a lot.
Yeah.
It really does.
And it's a win-win. You either get the tap from the crush, or he lets go of his hands or his wrist and you get the arm lock. So
Yeah, you get the juji from there.
just remember, this foot controls the head until this foot comes over. If I try and do it this way, he sits up and now I don't have anything, okay? So always keep control of his head with this one until you bring it over. Then it's okay to bring it back down and stomp that foot down, because now I'm controlling his head as well as squeezing. Okay?
That's a good point for control. Yeah, where his head is. Yeah, very good point.
Good.
Okay, want to try?